Welcome back to my stream. Alex Preda here. So, in the last, I think last 2 weeks or so, I was focused on breaking down my track Staying Here, which was released on Days Like Nights. Today, I want to go through the mixing process, but I'm not going to go back in time and show you how I've done it. I thought it would be more interesting if I would start the process from the beginning. Then you can see how basically I'm going through the mixing process step by step. So basically I'm going to start with the the beginning of the whole process, and right now, as you can see, well, let me open the tracks. I've got my drums group, I've got the Omnisphere group, and I have all the other instruments that I use for the melodies and for the strings. And of course, inside the Omnisphere, I have several instruments, which are the bass, the main melody, and some other synths. So the first thing that I doing when I start the mixing, I'm making sure that everything is in audio. This is to what pertains the instruments, the synths, but for the drums it's a different story, because they're pretty much all the samples that I have. I mean, I maintain the same structure all the time in my library, and maybe you can already see it here on my left. I have here places, and then I have made the selection for each drum instrument. So that's pretty, how do you call it? That I can always trace back, so it's easy. But with the synths, it's really, really tricky. So what I will do now, I think pretty much everything I have recorded in audio. So I'm going to put off the input from Omnisphere. And let me see the other instruments. Yeah. So here what I will do, I will just copy the, cut the effects from the Mini V. I have a little bit of EQ that I've done during the composition process. I'm gonna use the Q3 because, yeah, that's a newer version and that's what I'm using at the moment. However, the utility volume automation, I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to freeze. And after it's frozen, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna flatten it, and then I'll paste the utility. Now, flatten. Perfect. Now, I paste the utility so I can move that, I can automate that later without any problem. Here, the same thing pretty much. Freeze track. So I'm gonna make this flat also. Okay, and now the strings. Let's see here again. I have the volume automation, of course. I'm going to cut this, freeze again. So I'm gonna flatten this one also. Cool. Alright, so now I have this one's flattened, and okay, this is the vocal sample. Going to keep it the same. And here, let me see if I have any processing on the Omnisphere group. I don't have any processing. However, I see that the volume is minus 5.1. And what I want to do, I want to get rid of the grouping. But if I get rid of the grouping now, my volume will be a bit louder because yeah, the group volume is going to disappear, so I have to adjust for that. And the way to do it, I'm just going to go inside of each audio track, and I'll just say minus 5.1, and I'm gonna take this utility and I'll copy it everywhere, and then I have my 5.1. Oh, it's not 5.1. Wait, I made it. So minus 5.1. Okay, so now it's this. Bam. Okay, here too. Add one delete. I don't need it. Bam. Do the same thing here also. Okay. Here too, I delete that because it doesn't have any automation. And okay, I think it's pretty much done. So going to ungroup now, and I can delete everything. I'm only going to keep the audio, so going to delete the MIDI, the other audio track that I don't need, the main instrument track, basically everything that is MIDI can go. Unclutter the project. So I went from 40 something tracks to 39. Okay, now let's see. In the drums group, is there anything that is not active? Because then I can just delete it. Nope, everything seems to be active. Okay, so now I'm going to rename these tracks. Okay, so this is main synth. What I actually do, I also leave the naming, the original naming behind, because in case I need to re-record something, then I know where it comes from. Okay, this is lead synth. Okay, break melody. Baseline. This is bass synth. No, okay, my OCD tells me I need to put capital letter there. Yes, better. This is I don't know, chime synth something, or keyboard key. Let's put key. Bam. Okay, this is ARP V, but okay, ARP mini V actually synth, so I'll say 6 mini V3. Okay, this one can stay ARP. Strings. That's pretty self-explanatory. Vocal group. Here, I'll say vocal 0, because the other ones are pitched down, and then I'll say here vocal -7 cents. No, semitones. I'll just say -7, and then oh, and here below is gonna be vocal -12. Well, now what I want to do, okay, so I'm gonna save this, go through all the individual tracks and see if there is anything that I don't need, like, you know, some plugins or effects. Then I'm just going to get rid of them. So whatever is deactivated, I'll just take out, like for instance this one here. Out. So a good mixing process is always as a result of good preparation beforehand. I know this takes more time into the whole beginning and ending of music production process, but in the end, actually the mixing process is really adding a lot of value to the whole track. I know a lot of producers, what they do, but there is no good or wrong actually. It's just different preferred way of working. Some producers, they mix as they progress also with the composition, so it's like a parallel thing going on. I'm also doing that, but then still at some point I start sensing that there are some frequencies which should not be there. So then it's better to just have this time after the composition is done, when I'm satisfied with the composition, I'm happy with the melodies and everything, but then I'm only looking strictly at the mixing. So that takes indeed a bit of extra time. Okay, so now I want to group tracks based on their frequency spectrum. So the synths. All right. So actually what I will do, so the strings together with this synth FX, I'm going to put together because I feel the nature of this instrument here is more closer to the higher spectrum, so work together in the same spectrum with the strings. All right. I'll say here maybe atmospheric group, and here can be anything, like pads, atmospheric loops, etc. Okay, and then I have the bass group. Cool, and then I have the synths. So synth group, but also I'm going to put it also in the same group, this one, in the Atmo group. Okay. So now I have pretty much structure for the mixing process. And I'm just going to give everything the same color. Makes it easier for the eyes. So for the baseline, it's always more intense color. I prefer red. For the atmospheric group, something that's a bit more bright. Actually, that's a good color. Oh, not green now, and the other one, light blue. Light blue, where are you? No, not that one. Like it. I'm a bit color blind here, but no, that's too bright. This one. Okay, I'm gonna go with that one. Perfect. Okay. for the vocal group, just going to do the same. Yeah, bright yellow is fine. And then I have here master records. Well, I'm going to go later into this. I'm not gonna use it now, but I'll just keep it there. And what I'm going to do in the next session, I'm going to group also the drum elements so I can make it easier for mixing. Probably I'm going to group the hats. Got a lot of hats, as you can see. But yeah, I'm going to tune out, and I'll definitely continue tomorrow with the mixing process. But this would be like the first stage, really. Well, this is the second stage, because the first stage is to convert everything to audio. Second stage is where everything is organized properly. Well, these are the stages that are in my head. And then the other one is where you actually do the whole mixing work and fix the levels and do some automations, etc. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'm tuning out.